Hello, welcome to Let's Play the Shivah. I'm going to let this play. I've basically put some of my other ones on hold for a little bit, so I'm going to play something that doesn't require any kind of grinding. She stares as well, look lonely and desperate. I could relate. I'm gonna actually play this whole series of games from the Shivah, and then I'm going to go to the Blackwell, which they are related, however tangentially. Smell between salvation and damnation is a mighty fine one. I no longer knew which side I stood on. There are those who would say that I had no business being here. They might be right. I'm no longer sure what I'm doing, but I'm fairly sure I know who I am. Yes, you have to go through that entire intro, basically, every time you want to play the game. That's one thing I don't like about this game, is that intro. I think I have mashed on the escape key, and it didn't help much. Yep, so I'm going to play these series of Wadjet Eye Games. The Shivah is actually a very short game. So I'm going to record this probably all in one session and then split it up later. I have played this through twice, but I'm probably going to get hung up on a few areas. And the speech is on. I'm not going to do the voices.
Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra lied nasa v'chel tzokol atzai melech shemo nikra.
Now, as you can see, it's basically, we're in a synagogue, a temple, and we're playing Rabbi Stone. But I don't know how authentic it is. I'm not Jewish. I assume it's pretty authentic. I haven't listened to the commentary track yet. So
Thank you, Cantor Kaplan. Today in my sermon I'd like to discuss suffering. Why do bad things happen to good people? Wherever there is pain, or oppression, or poverty, the question is always the same. How could God let this happen? Is God as good as we think? Can He, in fact, do evil? Maybe, on occasion, He even enjoys inflicting pain.
Take a good hard listen to these voices. Just keep them in your mind.
No. I can't do this. I'm sorry.
Rabbi?
You heard.
Huh? What?
Go home, Mrs. Raymer.
Is it over already?
Yeah.
Rabbi Stone, wait! You can't just stop.
Sure I can. Just watch me.
But
It's over, Josh.
you can't mean that.
Look, you're a good kid. You've got a good voice and a good future. Don't let me hold you back. Now do a mitzvah and call Mrs. Raymer a cab. Goodbye, Josh.
As we can see, there's about only one person that actually is attending temple. Is it temple or synagogue? I've always heard of it called temple. And as we can see, this is kind of no one's attending temple, and he basically wants to quit. Keep in mind what was said at the beginning of the game about questions. That actually is kind of important.
Go away.
For this dialogue, it really doesn't matter what you say. You kind of have to go through the whole tree.
Services are canceled. I said, go away. Leave me alone.
Now, I'm not gonna be like some other adventure game Let's Players and go through every little tiny thing and pause too much to try and describe things. I'm gonna try and go through this kind of quickly.
I repeat, services are canceled. Leave me alone, I said. Fine, I'm coming.
Yeah, you will eventually have to open the door. But let's look around the room because moves at the speed of plot. You can read that. Maybe I should read that. My collection of rabbinical texts, prayer books, Judaic history, and Harry Kimmelman novels. These boxes contain a small supply of Kiddush wine, a small crawl space used to store old records. Much I would like to have break open a bottle of Kiddush wine, I didn't think it was appropriate. Diploma from B'nai B'rith Yeshiva.
Has it really been 30 years?
Yes, it has. Certification of Rabbinical Studies. It reads, this is certified that Russell Elijah Stone has been granted the title of Rabbi by B'nai B'rith Yeshiva on the date of June 23rd, 1970. And if I butcher these names, I'm sorry. I'm very bad at Hebrew. I'd come across this quote some years ago and had decided to have it printed and mounted on the wall. It reads, if statistics are right, the Jews constitute but 1% of the human race, as they just a nebulous dim puff of stardust lost in the blaze of the Milky Way. Properly, the Jew ought hardly to be heard of, but he is heard of and has always been heard of. Mark Twain, 1899. It's full of bills and junk mail. Just bills, lots of them, so we can see he's probably in the arrears. Colorful photograph of B'nai Ben Zion youth group picnic hung on the wall. It was taken over 50 years ago. Most of those kids probably had families of their own by now. Computer is going to be a major crux in this. I picked up this computer at the local yard sale. He said it would revolutionize my life. That hadn't happened yet, but I wasn't holding my breath. In our inventory, which you just whoop, we have a business card, which is a bit important. It gives us our login name for the computer. And this comes in handy because we need it for the password. Otherwise, you can kind of sort of ignore it. I wonder if I could go to the computer and break the linearity. Oh, I can futz with the computer now. Damn! I wanted to break the game!
I thought I told you to go home.
Rabbi Stone, there's someone here.
Tell him to get lost. There's no service tonight.
No, it's a cop.
Huh?
Detective Sam Durkin, Midtown South Precinct. Could I talk to you for a few minutes, Rabbi Stone?
Sam Durkin, your father's dead. We're gonna find that out in the next game I play. Unless you're John, supposed to be John Durkin. Rabbinical response.
Is there some sort of problem, officer?
I'd just like to ask you a few questions.
Fine. Josh, take a hike.
Poor Josh.
So, what can I do for you? I assume you're not here to convert.
Are you familiar with a Mr. Jack Lauder?
Should I be?
I'm asking the questions, Rabbi.
Fine. Let me think. Lauder. Oh.
You know him.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about him?
He used to belong to this congregation.
Used to. But not anymore?
No. Left about 8 years ago, I think. What's this about?
Have you had any contact with him since?
No, I haven't. Care to fill me in here?
Do you read the papers?
John, or Jack Lauder. That's one of those names you need to write down. Because this game uses kind of a web search interface to get the more information about the people that you need, to search for more information, to ask questions. Because the way this game does things is very interesting. It doesn't really use items. It uses, like, clues as items, which I like, but for the longest time it had me stumped in one area.
Not recently.
So, you're not aware, Rabbi Stone, that Jack Lauder has been dead for 3 days?
I did my best to control myself. I knew this man's type. His eyes scanned my face like a barcode reader, trying to read every telltale sign of emotion. Any flicker, any twitch could be used against me later.
No.
Does that bother you?
Should it?
Answer me, Stone.
No.
So, you and Mr. Lauder weren't close?
No, we weren't. What's the deal, Durkin?
I've seen Lauder's will. He left you a significant amount of money.
He did what?
You heard.
How much?
I don't have the exact amount, but somewhere in excess of 10,000.
Bull.
It's the truth.
Jack wouldn't give me bubkiss, let alone $10,000.
And why is that, Rabbi Stone?
He just wouldn't.
Huh. This temple's in pretty sad shape, isn't it, Rabbi?
Well, you're not blind, that's for sure.
Can you afford the repairs?
Do I look like I can afford it?
I'm just asking.
Oh, you're just asking. Well, I'm going to ask you to leave. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Rabbi Stone,
Get out of my office.
listen.
No, you listen. I know where this is going, and I don't like it.
I'm just doing my job.
Yeah, you're a real mensch. Get out of here.
Fine. I'll leave, Rabbi Stone. But I'll be back.
Yeah, I bet you will.
Actually, no you won't. This is the first, last, and only time we see Sam Durkin. Putz. Oh, it's raining. That's nice. Yeah, they're basically right here trying to remind you of this name that you need to look up. Jack Lauder, Jack Lauder. Name pulled a cork out in my brain, letting loose old thoughts and memories that fought and struggled for supremacy. Jack Lauder was more than just a name. It was a link to a time when things were simpler. A time when I thought I had it all figured out. A time when morals and ethics meant something. A time before it all turned to crap.
I need to think.
That's kind of your cue to kind of head out of the office. If you're playing this in order.
Wow, Rabbi, what was that all about?
He's a sheep in our flock. We shall respond to him as thusly.
Didn't I tell you to go home?
Come on, Rabbi, I have to know. Who was killed?
Josh, what did I tell you about listening at my door?
I wasn't, Rabbi, honest. You were just very loud.
Huh.
So who was killed? Was it that Lauder guy?
Do you think so?
Yeah. Who else could it be? I heard you talking about him.
Huh. We must have talked very loud.
Well, yeah. So who is he?
An old member of this congregation.
Ah, that's too bad.
Yeah, well, it happens to the best of us.
Are you gonna pay a Shivah call?
I don't think there will be a Shivah, Josh.
Why?
Shivas are for Jewish families. Just forget it.
Alright, if that's what you want. I guess I'll go now.
Yeah. Good night, Cantor.
Night, Rabbi.